Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm back already. Like I said, I have quite a few projects that I have to take care of this weekend that I'm going to try my best to take care of this weekend. Live streams sort of drain your energy. So after you're done, you got to sort of recoup and restore your senses, sort of recover. These live streams are like an exercise, physical exercise. And I'm back for round 2. Is there much that needs to be said? Now we have to get into this. And the thumbnail that I used for this live stream is not the same one you see here. I actually forgot spay and neuter that you see sort of in the center of your screen. But we have to get into this. And I think it's long overdue. Shout out to everybody in the room. Ashar, Kittens, Yusuf, I see you. Big shout out to everybody who sends me stories on Twitter. A lot of good stuff there. Serena, War on Dogs. Hey, War on Dogs and Chef has collaborated for yet another classic video that I want you all to check out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share a link to that video now. If you will bear with me, Chef Mutt Meat and War on Dogs is the dynamic duo. I love these little projects that they put together. And this one is titled, Can Dogs Tell a Bad Person or Cry Emotional Tears? And this was uploaded on War on Dogs channel. Make sure y'all check it out. I'm going to go ahead and share that in the chat room. Now I can hear you dog lovers now crying. Why is he doing this? Why are you doing this? Stop this. Projecting dogs in a negative way. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't give it to anything or anybody that didn't deserve it. Buster Gundo, I see you. Big shout out. Soda Pop Jones. Dunbar. Sunny Day, good afternoon. Hope I didn't forget anybody. I can hear him now. Oh, you're so hateful. You're so mean. Dog lovers, listen. You've told on yourself with all the devices that you've created. All of these things were not invented by anti-dog people. These things were invented by dog lovers. Don't play dumb. And look at how many items you have. And I'm probably forgetting some. You have the muzzle. Now, as you look at this, people, think to yourself, what other animal, so-called animal, do we use any of these things for? And this is simply to protect people from dogs. This is man's best friend, and humans have created multiple different devices and objects to protect themselves from dogs or to neutralize a dog attack. Do we put muzzles on deer? Do we put muzzles on the rabbits, the squirrels, cats? Of course not. Nobody would even think to do anything like that. Only dogs. Only so-called man's best friend. Now, some people may say, fence? What do you mean fence? That's exactly what I mean, a fence. Do y'all know? Many of you know that if a dog owner, if their dog attacks someone, the court might order them to build a fence. Right? We all remember that. Say, hey, your dog has now been deemed dangerous. You're required to put a fence around your home. Many people have a fence for their dog, and it is to protect the general public from their dog. The muzzle is to protect people from the dog. But yet, this is man's best friend. This is the sweet, loving angel sent from heaven. This is children's best friend. This is the creature that we need to be more like. And of course, the leash. You have to have these things tied to a rope at all times. How about that? Could you imagine putting a leash on a rabbit, a squirrel, a cat? Even though some places they talk about cat leashes, I've never seen a cat on a leash in my life. And if I saw a cat off leash, if I saw multiple cats off leash, I see them all the time, I wouldn't worry, not one bit. Like I said, the cats at my job, we see those cats every day. Cats ain't ever attacked anybody. How about a groundhog? We got groundhogs around here where I live. Could you imagine a muzzle on a groundhog? And these things are pretty big. Nobody fears them. Nobody worries about them. Why? Because those are true animals. You only need all of these devices for mutants, for brain damaged, unstable, neurologically dysfunctional mutants. Okay, keep them tied to a rope. You have to socialize them. Isn't that right? You have to take them around people so that they will be used to people. Take them around other dogs so they will be used to dogs. So that when you bring them around people and or dogs, your dog won't simply attack. Now, this does not work, as we all know. As we all know, fences are fairly ineffective. Leashes are fairly ineffective. Maybe even muzzles. But they say that you need to socialize your dog so that it won't kill somebody. To keep your dog from ripping your child's throat out and their face off, you need to bring the dog around children. Wow. Yeah, and you want to let these things roam around free, off leash, inside of the home where your children live. And this is not child endangerment. This doesn't violate the reckless endangerment laws that we have on the books. Of course it does. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous, people. Dog lovers. You've told on yourself. The pepper spray. The dog mace. Hey, if a dog charges at you, spray it in the face with this. Our patented formula will have that dog running away in tears. Isn't that right? boy, oh boy, there's an awful lot of deterrents, devices, strategies. My question is, why is this thing this eager to attack us? If this is our best friend, these are the creatures that evolved alongside us for tens of thousands of years. None of the other animals evolved alongside us for tens of thousands of years. Only dogs. So why is it only dogs that require all of these? A shock collar. That's to tame the dog's aggression, its temperament. It's a deterrent. So you want people to give it an electric shock. Okay. Also electric shock with a stun device. Some of you have seen the stun batons here online. A stun baton. So we got dasers and tasers. In fact, here's a daser. I'm up here talking sonic sound. Okay, stun gun and sonic sound. This is a daser. I actually used to have one of these. It releases a high-pitched sound that you can't hear, but dogs can hear. Wow. You mean I need all of this? These things want to attack me that bad? Why? What did I do to it? Absolutely nothing. They're the only animals that will attack you even if you do nothing to them. It's almost like an unwritten rule for natural animals to leave you alone if you haven't bothered them. A lot of people are attacked by, well, not a lot of people. Some people are attacked by bears. It's usually because they're wandering around in the bear's territory. For the most part, bears don't want nothing to do with us. And they leave us alone. It's sort of programmed into all natural animals to leave us alone. Now, every now and then you might have some exception to the rule, but it's definitely not the rule. As I've pointed out, natural dogs don't want nothing to do with us. Do some research into the behavior of wild dogs. They avoid human beings. They avoid our territories. How is that even possible? It's because dogs are mutants. I have so many examples that I've probably forgotten more than I can remember. Exercise. They tell you to exercise your dog, and that if it doesn't get enough exercise, it'll attack you. It'll attack your child. People are told to exercise their dog so that their dog won't attack them. This will be embarrassing for our generation when the future generation does research on our lifestyle. They're not going to believe that we were this dumb. They're going to scratch their head. Like, really? So it's important for us to talk about this stuff, to let the future generation know that not all of us were sick in the head. We were not all brainwashed. So, ridiculous as it may sound, exercise the dog or else it'll attack you. Chop the dog's genitals off. What? Why? To manipulate its hormones, to reduce the dog's testosterone, reduce the chances that it'll attack you. What? That sounds like a creature that's very eager to attack someone. That sounds like a creature where all it wants to do is attack someone. I've pointed out how when you watch dogs play, I think I talked about this in the members area. Dogs, whenever they play, they're just practicing killing. For the most part, what are they doing? They're biting something, tearing it apart. If it's a bully breed, it'll latch onto it and shake. They practice killing and mutilating. And that is fitting. It is fitting that people would have come up with all of these devices for a creature like that, where its idea of playing is mutilation rehearsal. A pit bull break stick. You know how pit bull lovers say that pit bulls are no different from any other dog, but they just happen to need a special device to open its jaws. You know how they say that pit bulls' jaws do not lock? That's hard for them to argue that when they have to use what can be seen as a key to open it. That break stick, it functions just like a key to a lock. They slide it in between the narrow gaps in the dog's face and pry the jaws open. Well, pit nutters, if their jaws don't lock, why do you need a break stick? Why don't you just open the dog's jaws with your hands? And why isn't that an easy thing to do? See, these nutters, they have all kinds of problems. When you examine the facts, they have all kinds of problems. This mutt tearing apart a basketball. And the man needs a break stick. Medication. Medication, people. The dog version of Ritalin. Prozac. They encourage you to give your dog a sedative. You know we're dealing with a very unstable creature when they're telling you to medicate it. Every time they bring a therapy dog into a school or somewhere, they medicate those dogs. Y'all have noticed how these therapy dogs, when they go into these schools and whatnot, they're very calm. On average, they seem far more calm and relaxed than any other dog. That's because they're drugged up. And of course, the dog lovers will pass its behavior off as it being a good little boy. As many of you know, dogs will go into these hospitals, they will go into these schools and fall asleep. I've shown several photos, videos. You can find them yourself. Now, that is telling, because as even dog lovers will tell you, when dogs are around a bunch of people that it doesn't even know, their anxiety levels increase. They panic. So it's mandatory that you drug them up before you bring them in there. Wow. And of course, when they're drugged up, they're far less likely to become aggressive. Well, this sounds like man's best friend, doesn't it? Animal control. Made me think of Animal Uncontrol here on YouTube. Make sure you check out Animal Uncontrolled's channel. The content creators are doing a fantastic job, man. I'm having a ball listening to their content. I've listened to some of the videos from War on Dogs, Animal Uncontrolled, Worthless Mutts, always listening to those. Who is it? Four-Legged Plague. Make sure you check out the other channels on the homepage of my channel. Now, they call it animal control, but let's not play dumb here. Every time you see animal control out doing their job, what animal are they trying to control? Is it a deer? Is it a rabbit? Squirrel? Is it a cat? You don't even see animal control coming out to deal with coyotes, wolves, mountain lions. They don't even deal with other predators. It's pretty much exclusively used for dogs. It is our version of a police force for dogs. Why? That sounds like a group of permanent criminals where you need special tools and devices to deal with them. And last but not least, we all know of the signs that say, beware of dog. These signs are actually put up to help keep people safe. They see the sign, they say, oh no, let me not go in that direction. So how could this possibly at the same time be the best friend of children? Let's not even talk about man's best friend. You claim these things. So let's get this straight. You create all these devices as protection against dogs. And at the same time, you bring dogs into thousands of elementary schools, preschools, and teach children, prepubescent children, to pet on them, to rub them, to hug them. You're going in schools around the country teaching prepubescent children that these things are harmless and that they are angelic-like. That's what you're doing. You know it. You project dogs like angels on earth to kids. Then when they go to pet one and get attacked, you want to blame the kids. Oh, you approached it too fast. What a hypocritical culture. People, it's pretty epic. It is very epic. What makes it so bad, see, this is what happened when you lie. When you are a a perpetual liar, eventually it's going to surface. Eventually, your actions are going to be the opposite of your lie. And these people have been pushing this propaganda of man's best friend, dogs are family. Dogs are no different from 2-year-old children. Really? This is why I get so offended when they compare dogs to children. Dog is like my child. It's just like a child. I hate when these people call dogs babies. Children, babies, cannot kill, cannot mutilate. That's highly offensive. But of course, these people are so inhumane, they don't understand where I'm coming from when I say that. Highly disrespectful. So this is the scenario for all dogs. The dog lover world, they tell on themselves. And if they were smart, they would feel embarrassed if they ever slipped up and said that dogs are love. All these goofy memes that they make. Love, 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 love. And at the same time, you have all of this going on. And people, I haven't even included all the different items. I didn't even talk about the catch pole, the rope pole. That's a special device designed specifically for dogs. They have a bite sleeve. You can get a bite sleeve. They have all kinds of items. And they have to tailor these things for dogs. So we need to understand, how is this man's best friend? Where's the friendliness in that? Why is it that all the other animals can roam around free? No leash, no muzzle, no medication, no fence. All these other animals, they don't need to be socialized. They don't need to grow up being around human beings. They could see human beings for the first time 10 years after being born, and they would look at us and walk away. These other animals don't need a shock collar. They don't need to be exercised. You don't need to chop the genitals off of these other animals. You don't need a sonic device. You don't need pepper spray for no deer. You don't need to put other animals on medication. You don't need to build or create an entire portion of your police department centered around dealing with animals, much as you like to call it animal control. As I showed, you can Google it yourself. Some districts just straight up say dog control. They don't say animal control. It's dog control. They're being truthful. Why don't we need a stun baton for the other animals of the earth? Why don't we need a sonic device for other animals of the earth? That is because those other animals are true animals, designed to coexist on this earth with human beings. It's a natural rhythm. They are in sync with human beings. Dogs are not, because they are not natural animals. They are mutants. And this is according to science. Science have discovered, established these things to be mutants. So there's nothing normal about anything about them, even their barking. Along with all of these other devices, notice how many other things are unique to dogs. Barking, making a loud, obnoxious sound for absolutely no reason. Right? Think about that. Why don't these other animals get filled with anxiety? Why don't they feel challenged or threatened when they're around people? I give the example of the ducks or the geese, the swan, all these different types of large birds that all of us see throughout the cities. Early in the morning, they're usually flooding parking lots, large parking lots. You can walk right past a group of them. They're not even going to fly away. They actually act like you're not even there. They behave as if they've grown up with us, alongside us, for tens of thousands of years. That's how other animals behave. All these other things unique to dogs. And they want us to believe that a dog being filled with anxiety simply because you are present, simply because you are in its sight, they want us to believe that's somehow natural for animals. It is not. It is not. This is what this society is missing: an accurate projection of dogs. I don't like seeing people deceived. I don't like it. I don't like seeing people be duped, especially at my expense. You being brainwashed endangers me. It makes the community I live in dangerous and filthy. That's another thing. The waste from dogs is the most harmful, the most toxic. And it's the number one contaminant of our air and water. I don't know what else needs to be pointed out to let people know that these things are abnormal mutants that we would be much better off without. But you will, in due time. You cannot be confronted with the truth forever and never have it sink in. We will take over the minds of the world. It's already turning around right now. This is just the beginning. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this brief live stream. And I will be back very soon for another. And I hope you're able to join me as we continue with this crusade.